Well, you're just in time because it is 8 o'clock straight up. And because I like to be conscientious of everyone's time, we're going to start on time. So thank you everyone for joining us this month. I'm going to hand it over to, first I'm going to mute everybody. So just remember how to unmute. And then we're going to have David give us our announcement. So everyone should be muted. Okay, David.
Thank you, Julie. I hope everyone's doing well this evening. We've got some different faces up here tonight, which is always exciting to have new people joining us for Zoom and Tell. It's great because we always have fun each month doing this, and it's always nice to have new faces and new names. It seems like the word Rose Point brought out a few Rose Point collectors this evening that we don't always see. So thank you for joining us, and hopefully you'll join us again in the future. Tonight's theme is Rose Point, and Larry and Susan Everett is leading that program tonight. So I know we're going to see some really cool pieces of glass tonight. And if, as Julie mentioned earlier, if you're just joining us, if you have glass to show and you have not already contacted Julie, you can go to the bottom of your screen and click on the chat icon and send a message out that you have some glass to show. And if you don't know how to do that, there'll probably be some time at the end to simply say, I have glass to show, and you'll fit right in. So, Julie, that's all I've got for, and I can wrap things up at the end with the November theme.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, David. So we're going to turn it over to the Everetts, and I'm sure this will be a wonderful program. So Larry, we'll let you take it away.
Thank you, Julie. Hello, everyone. And I'll just let you all know that this is extra special because this is way past my bedtime. So, yeah, we were up, I think, at 3 o'clock this morning. So, but that's normal for us. Tonight's topic is Rose Point. What I'll be doing is sharing screen in a minute. I have a few slides that I'll show you on PowerPoint. I know some of you don't like that, but it serves a good purpose. And then I'll come back and show some glass that hopefully will be a lead into everyone else's collections later on. And we can all say happy birthday to Susan tomorrow. She'll be 39 yet again. All right. Here we go. On share screen. So I know a lot of you were at the Sunday Study Club meeting where you saw part one. Tonight is completely different except for the title slide, which you see here. So if you have questions, store them up at the end and I'll do my best to try to answer them for you. So here we go. It all began back in 1934 when Rose Point was first introduced. And I'm sure you all know about the story of the lace sample that came from Belgium, and it was actually in the safe in the Cambridge office. And that's how Mr. Google developed had the inspiration for developing the etching. Formally introduced to the trade in 1935, and that's typically the way Cambridge did things. They would bring a few things out for the trade shows late fall, but on January 1 of the next year, that would be the formal introduction for whatever the etchings or engravings or new line or whatever it was. Cambridge had a unique paper label that you might find on some pieces. And if you do find a paper label, it's very, very hard to find. So you might not want to scrape that one off. The paper labels were used from 1935 to 1937. It seems like all of the paper labels that Cambridge had were expired at about the end of 1937. So that's when that ceased. I'm going to take a few excerpts out of circular letters. This is from 1937. It says, there's one exception of the list of things which we furnish without charge, and that's the Cambridge display fixture. And the museum has a Rose Point display fixture, and it is not the urn lamp that you see here. So from this wording, we can assume that Cambridge Glass gave these Cambridge Rose Point urns to the stores where they were sold. So if you're lucky enough to get one of these, especially lucky enough to get one that the gold lettering is still fairly decent on, consider yourself lucky. Also, this is out of 37 in September. They've been selling quite a few odd items. So this is when they started really expanding the Rose Point line to include some baskets and other items that some of the other lines had. Notably, Elaine was a pretty complete line. We don't really have a reference to anything in Cambridge prior to the 35-37 catalog, but in this catalog, the 3121 stemware, the 3500 stemware, and the 3105 stemware lines are illustrated, and I'll show you a few of those now. And another circular letter before I get out of those, I just wanted to point out that to Cambridge Glass, Rose Point in the beginning was just another etching. So they advertised Rose Point with Wildflower, Diane, Portia, Valencia, Elaine, Minerva, all the same. And you could buy a dozen of these 4 different vases for $37.50, or at least the retailers could. And if you wanted the decorates, which was a gold edge decorate, they would cost about a third more. Just out of information, if you'd like to know, if you wanted a gold encrusted, that's more than double the price of just a plain etching. Also, you could get items plain for, this is a 3-piece console set for $19.80, or you could have an etched console set in crystal for $30, so about another 1/3 jump in price. An oddly known fact that very few people that collect Cambridge Glass know, there was a Rose Point engraving, 852 Rose Point, which really doesn't look like roses, in my opinion. I don't know if any of you have one. If you do, it's very, very hard to find. Short-lived line. So out of the 37 catalog, this is the 3121 line. We're fortunate enough to have 8 of all these pieces. The Cafe Parfait is not shown. This is our first stemmer line that we started to collect. And at that time, we were living out in the middle of nowhere in Iowa, Missouri, Kansas, and Rose Point was pretty hard to find. Out of the Gary Turner book, which is a wonderful reference book, by the way, this is illustrations of the 3105 line. And from records, it appears that the 3105 line and the 3121 line were the first 2 lines that were introduced with Rose Point etching. And you could also collect a complete number of pieces in this line if you'd like. We have at least one of each one of these. You could also get them with an unetched bowl in crystal or in color. The 3106 line was introduced shortly after that as kind of a plain straight stem, pretty elegant. It looks fragile, which may be why a lot of people didn't collect it. Maybe they thought it would break more easily, but it's actually fairly rugged. You can't smash it on the floor, of course. But all of those pieces are known to Rose Point except for the sherry. And the 3500 line is probably, without a doubt, the second most collected line in Rose Point. Again, there are a number of different items of stems. I think there's 13. All the major lines included finger bowls. And usually the finger bowls are optic, but not always. The 3104 line, which is like the 3106 except taller, did have rose point, but only in the cocktail. They're pretty hard to find. The 3011 line, which I'm not sure why anyone would collect that, especially with etchings, but there are known rose point pieces in the banquet goblet, table goblet, claret, cocktail, and cordial, and I'm sure some of you will be pulling those out tonight. However, I want you to notice what etchings are included in the catalog: Gloria and Apple Blossom. So if you wanted to collect the statuesque line in etchings, I would suggest you maybe look for Gloria and Apple Blossom. They're not easy to find, but they're more readily found than Rose Point. Cambridge called everything that wasn't a tableware line a novelty. So in Rose Point, you just had a million choices. So if you just wanted to collect Rose Point jugs, you could collect 14 different ones. All kinds of creamers, candy boxes, candlesticks, vases. I didn't want to list them all, but I'm firmly convinced that if Cambridge made a glass from 1930 on, chances are somebody has that etched in Rose Point. So if we wanted to rank colors from the most common to the least common, and I know a lot of you say crystal's not a color, but I'm not one of those. Probably 95% of everything is crystal. Then you get into Crown Tuscan, which is easily found, ebony, which is not easily found, amber, which is even scarcer, carmine, and royal blue. There's just a handful of pieces known with Rose Point royal blue. So if you see one of those and it's more than $1.99, you might want to splurge. Rose Point is unique in that the blanks that were etched Rose Point were sold to many lamp and silver companies. For example, the hanging fixture, lamp fixture in the dining room in the museum was actually made by a lamp company using etched Rose Point components. It was also etched on Federal glassware by Cambridge Glass. So Cambridge bought Federal blanks and then etched them at Cambridge Glass and then sold them. And we have them in the catalog as C328, C428. There's actually a 5 ounce, and there may be some more also. I'll show one of those in just a second. Rose Point was also used by Imperial Glass after Cambridge closed. So the fixtures, catalogs, and everything went to Imperial, and Imperial produced Rose Point from about 1960 to 1970. So Susan and I want to thank all the Rose Point collectors that helped us along the way. John and Eileen Vanoy from Missouri, Jim and Nancy Finley from Missouri, George and Mac Otten from Dayton, Niall and Bruce Stanton from Nebraska, Ken and Jane Filippini in New Jersey, Grant, Dolores Geisler, and David Ray, Doug Ingram, and Gary Turner. So that is all I have as far as PowerPoints go. So I'm going to stop share. If you're not viewing a presenter, you may want to do that while I show a few things of glass. So I'll lead off with the smallest thing, and that's this big 10-inch bowl. It does have a sterling rim on the bottom, or sterling foot, and it's not pierced roses, but it's solid, and it is signed Wallace Rose Point. As compared to this goblet, which is a 3106 blank, and it does have the pierced roses on the foot. So the sterling either came in solid or the pierced version. And here's a little cordial with a solid sterling foot. And if you're fortunate enough, I didn't mention the 400 line, the solid ball bottom line. It also came etched rose point in a few pieces. And as I mentioned, rose point also came in amber, which is not easy to find. I have to confess, this is not my favorite. The rose point etching doesn't show up very well on amber, but like I said, it's hard to find. 3104 with the pressed rose point bottom with the etched bowls. This is the sherbet. Something that comes in 3 different sizes. This is a 1620 vase, 7-inch. It also came in a 9-inch and 11-inch size. The smaller 7-inch is actually the hardest to find. And the hat came in, I think, 4 sizes, 4 or 5. The hats, all the hats were made off the, I think it's a 72 tankard mold. And if you look on the hats, no, I lost it. There's a little diamond on one of the seams, and that's their mark that they would put the bottom of the handle on. So they would look for that mark, they'd stick the hot glass there and then loop it up for the top of the handle on the tankards. And of course it has the rolled brim. How do you measure a hat? It's the distance between my 2 fingers, the widest point. And rose point is found on several different hurricane lamps, both small and large shades. The trumpet shade as well as the larger version of this shade. This one has a smaller fitter in the bottom, and that is designed to go in a sterling holder. And one more piece, actually 2 more pieces. This is the Federal Double Old Fashioned C328. Straight-sided, it is shammed. It has kind of a concave bottom, which is a dead giveaway. Usually most Cambridge old fashions are flat. And my last piece, Julie, is one of these common Carmen golden crusted iced tea.
Well, thank you so much, Larry. And yes, I agree that common Carmen, I don't even know why you have that one. Doesn't even look nice.
Yeah.
So no, just kidding. Thank you so much. That's wonderful, wonderful. And thank you so much for your program. It's always so nice to get some education on such a vast line. And Rose Point, we have the Rose Point book that Gary has put together, and I often just use it for my own. I'm a Chantilly collector. I'm not a Rose Point collector, but so much of it overlaps that it's such a nice line, and it went over so many different lines. It's really, I think, the premier line that Cambridge had. Now, we did have a question during your presentation, and it came from, I think it was Jonathan Folk, asking, is there a preference in Rose Point collectors to have the pierced silver or the flat, what I would call a flatter silver that just has a little bit of a Marie look to it, for lack of better terms?
I haven't studied this specifically, but I'm pretty confident to say that most collectors would prefer the pierced design just simply because it's more ornate. However, some things only came with a solid sterling base, and that would be preferable if you're into the sterling rose point pieces. Some people don't like it, honestly. Uh, that's why we have different preferences. Rose point is the most popular Cambridge etching, and not only that, but it's the most popular etching of any elegant glass company. So it's pretty unique that way. Now, I must say that Wallace is not the only sterling company. There are others that also bought Cambridge blanks and used it for their product.
Yes, I'll chime in here only because I do follow silver quite a bit. And the silver that was produced by Wallace for their service settings is more of like the pierced look.
Yeah.
So I think if you had people that were trying to marry their sterling silver with the dinnerware, they would probably go for the pierced over the non-pierced look, only because rose point was a very good selling pattern. And actually, a lot of times the silver came first, the glassware came second. So that would be my answer to Jonathan's question, I believe. So with that being said, does anyone have any more questions for Larry? If so, just unmute
Yeah,
yourself and
I,
ask a
I
question.
have one question just for general knowledge. Other than Crystal and Crown Tuscan, when was the colored rose point produced? Like amber, royal blue, and carmine?
We've never seen it specifically as far as years. Um, as you know, we have a number of invoices from the factory that we've put into the digital archive, but we don't have the invoices for all the years, so it's difficult to say when they started. Um, but there's an addendum to that too. Cambridge was a company that if you went into your salesman and say, "Hey, my daughter's getting married. Money is no object, and I want to make the wedding spectacular. You know, could you get me 36 Rose Point goblets in royal blue?" I'm sure Cambridge would bend over backwards to try to make that happen.
All right, thanks.
Larry, there is that one page or two pages from some catalog that's got the black golden, ebony gold encrusted in wildflower and rose point and chantilly. And I don't recall for sure, but I think Mark Nye had that dated in 1940.
You know, that was gold encrusted, but I don't believe it had colored blanks, right?
No, it was ebony.
Oh, was
I'm
ebony?
talking the ebony. Yeah,
Okay,
I
okay.
think it was 1940, but I can't swear to that.
Yeah,
But Mark did have a date on it.
yeah.
Okay, are there any other questions for Larry at this time? If not, I'm sure we're very anxious to see what's going to come out tonight. So since Wendy's got her microphone working, we're going to start with Wendy first, and I am going to put Christine on deck.
Okay, good. So you can hear me, right?
Yes, we can.
Okay, okay. Um, I have a few pieces. I don't collect Rose Point. Um, I have the ashtray set with the 4 ashtrays in it. And I have yet to look up what this stem is, but I have a pair of these with the locking bobaches that are gold encrusted. And I have a pressed Rose Point wine in the Carmen. There's the echo, isn't there?
Nope, nope, you're
No?
good.
Oh, okay. I hear it. And I also have a pressed Rose Point in the water goblet.
Very nice.
That's it for me.
All right, thank you. Beautiful pieces. I'm always envious when I see the ashtray sets because I've never once seen them in Chantilly. So I'm always envious when I see them. And they've just seemed like they were such a utilitarian item for everyone that was at your home. So thank you so much for sharing and obviously joining us where it's a little bit earlier for you there.
Thank you.
Next, we're going to move on to Christine, and then we're going to put Mary and Jeff on deck, please.
All right. I had a really tough time because, of course, this is my daughter's favorite. But I didn't have access to any of her pieces, so these are the ones I happen to get to keep right now. So I, of course, had this is a tally hole bowl. So I'll just kind of show you the bottom of it, and it's divided. I thought that was just a really neat thing. Can you guys see okay that it's divided?
Yes.
So I've never seen one divided before. I just thought that was really cool. So I had to get that. That was one of my great finds from convention this year. So, and then is this worse with the white paper or better?
I think it's worse. I think it's better when you hold it up to that's
Yeah,
better. Yes.
thank you. So 3106, uh, tall sherbet. And then this one, I am not sure if this is 10 or 12. I am guessing it is the 10 ounce because, so you can see the 3106 stem as well, because I doubt a whole can of pop would fit in there. So, I have a curette, gold encrusted. Can you guys see that okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you, Julie. And I have also gold encrusted, a perfume, with, of course, the keyhole and the dauber. I also have kind of another recent find is this basket. I've been wanting to buy this basket and by chance found it with some gold trim to it. It's kind of a pretty, I think it's a really pretty basket. And then the last thing I was going to show here is the tally ho bucket. I love tally ho. It's kind of one of my favorites. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Christine. I do like the tally ho shape too. There's just something that makes it so comfortable looking, with the design and kind of that circular look at the bottom. So
Love it.
thank you so much.
Thank
I-
you.
In the meantime, we've had a question that popped up and we'll go back to it. John Folk had another question. He asked, do we know whether 3105 was ever produced with gold encrusted rose point on Carmen?
No, it was only done in crystal.
But we wish it was done in Carmen. Yes. Does that answer your question, Jonathan? Hopefully, yes.
It does. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay. Next, we're going to move on. We have Jeff and Mary on deck. And I'm sorry, Jeff and Mary are up. And we're going to put Gwinnell on deck, please.
Okay. We do have a little amber cheese compote, and I could not find it, but it's somewhere in our basement, probably. I wanted to show we just love the shape of these bowls, and I just think this is such a neat shape. And I didn't look up the number. It's 4-footed, and it's such a big bowl. But then, of course, you have to have candlesticks. And this is one of my favorites. I think it's the Corinth wine, I believe. I don't think the prism is probably right, but but they came with them, so. There's that one. I do love that little basket too that Christine has. I'd like to find one someday. They used to be so expensive. And I think, like everything else, some things have dropped, but I haven't found one lately. Little mustard jar. And it's got a notch in the lid. Well, the lid doesn't seem to fit real well, but that's a little mustard. And then this was our most recent piece, and this is the martini pitcher. I just picked this up a couple of weeks ago.
Cool with the optic.
Yeah. And then I think the last piece we brought out to show was the basket. And I think this is the only etched basket that we have in Cambridge.
Mm,
And that's it.
beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, I always have to remark that Cambridge made such heavy looking pieces like your basket. And then you have these delicate little mustards that look like they could break in an instant.
Yeah.
So again, it just shows what a vast line that we have to look at. And
Oh, I know.
all of the rose point and many of our other glass patterns. So thank you as always. You're always so willing to share, and it's always so much appreciated. So thank you. Next, we're going to go to Gwinnell, and then we're going to put Lyle on deck, please.
Good evening, everyone. Got the Corinth, I believe it's the Corinth candlestick. And naturally, I have to have a cream and sugar. And these are the individuals.
That's what I was going to ask. You answered my question.
And then the pressed amethyst, and I believe that's a wine. And that's it.
Well, thank you, Gwinnell. I just love those little individual sugars and creamers. They just look so cute, you know.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just love them. So thank you so much. Next, we're going to move on to Lyle, and then we're going to put Alan on deck, please.
I brought together the entire collection of Rose Point for this family. So get comfortable. There she is. Isn't that sweet? That's a
Yes.
cocktail, and it's optic crystal, and it has GE Rose Point on it. And this is the only piece because when we first came to Cambridge to investigate this club we call NCC, us and our family had stayed with the Gieslers at the Colonel Taylor bed and breakfast, and there was no escaping dissertations on Rose Point. And we almost swore off of them altogether. But friends of ours, who are much better friends now than they were at the time, decided I needed to have one and steered me to one of these that was available. I haven't seen another since or another piece of it, but I figured if I've got to have one, it's got to be fancy. So there she is. That's the whole collection, every piece I own. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Lyle. I'd be so disappointed if you didn't have a little lady show tonight.
Indeed.
So, and I'm sure those are probably pretty hard to come by as well, gold encrusted. So beautiful piece, beautiful piece. Thank you so much for sharing. Next, we're going to have Alan, and we're going to put Jack on deck, please. Alan, let me see if I can find you here. Mr. Cohen, are you there? Let me see if I can find you my list.
Alan, you're on mute.
Just asked you to unmute there, Alan.
Haven't done so.
There we go. Thank you.
Okay. I only have 5 pieces that I brought to show, although I have a full collection of these things. The first one is a 3121 gold encrusted, crystal bodied wine. Now, some say it's a claret, but by the shape of the bowl, I'm pretty sure it's a wine. Oh,
there you go. Right there is good.
A little better. The next one's a little bit more delicate, also crystal, and this is a 1 ounce cordial. Let me put it up here. Gold encrusted Rose Point, 3121. Let me see if I can tilt the screen of my monitor so I can show it better.
There you go.
There, okay. Let me see. The next one is a Carmen double keyhole candlestick. I have a pair, but we only brought up one. Gold encrusted Rose Point on the base and gold trim around the candle cups.
Beautiful.
That's my finger. The red one. Now, someone had one of these, and I'm not sure exactly what they called it. This is a 3500 Gadroon in Carmen, gold encrusted.
Beautiful, beautiful.
It's big. It's got a large bowl. They call it a tall bowl. So I got to be careful since my hand shakes. Sally? One second.
Oh, your assistant's right behind you.
Do we miss anything? No. This one is going to be very difficult to show. I probably have to get to the other end of the room. It's a dolphin base chimney lamp, all crystal with etched rose point. There's okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Oh, very nice. With the Bobachet.
Yeah, Bobachet. And
Is that the what are those, about 12-inch on the Hurricane on that?
no, it's bigger than that.
Bigger than that. The 18-inch one?
I believe so, yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, that's it.
That's it.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And
That's
thank you
awesome.
to your lovely
Yeah.
assistant.
Okay.
Thank you. That's all you
Yes.
take out of the showcase.
Yes. Well, we know how that goes. We got to keep those things safe. So thank you so much, Alan and Sally. We appreciate you showing your beautiful pieces tonight. And as always, the Carmen is just stupendous, especially with the gold looking so pristine around those candle cups. It's just wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. Next, we're going to move on. Who did I have on deck? I had Jack on deck, and then we're going to go to David, please.
Okay, thank you, Julie. I had to search. We only have two pieces of rose point in our entire collection. So I've got one up on Mr. Lyle, Dr. Lyle there. I've got two. But they're candlesticks, so they kind of fit. And the first one, I was hoping Mary and Jeff showed this the other day, but so I get to show it tonight. They didn't. So this is the Calla Lily Pristine 499 candlestick, and you can see it has the rose point etched there on the base. Nothing on the rim, but it's all the design is on the base. So, and the other thing we have, Larry had this in his picture, so I wanted to show. This is the 1339 candlestick. Very difficult candlestick to find. They made this late. We're really not sure exactly when. It's got to be sometime probably early 50s, right before the company closed, but we just don't really know. It's known in crystal, Chantilly, daffodil, and rose point. Rose point's probably, I would say, the easier of those to find, maybe crystal, but none of them are easy to find. These are very difficult to find. And I wanted to show you what they did. So this is the 1338 candlestick, which most of you all know. And you can see they just took took the base off of this one and put a foot on it to make the 1339. And also comparing it, this is version 4. This is Mandarin Gold. Mandarin Gold and Dark Emerald, late Dark Emerald, were the two colors that they produced this in late, this last version. And this matches that exactly. So we kind of know what time period this was done, although we really don't have much other information on it. But anyway, so that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jack. And yes, I do agree with you. That is a very hard candlestick to come by, and I've seen it more in Rose Point than I think I only know of one pair of Chantilly anywhere, and I haven't been able to procure those yet. So thank you for that. And always thank you for, really pointing out those subtleties that about the time frame and the shapes and how the shapes are so similar in so many different parts of the Cambridge pieces. And then they just maybe changed a base. They might have slightly modified a candle cup. They might have filled in a hole of a candle rather than have it open. So it's always impressive your wealth of knowledge and what you share with us. So thank you so much. Next, we're going to go to David, and then we're going to put Greg on deck, please.
Thank you, Julie. I'm going to start out with some stemware. Cambridge made rose point with gold trim as well as gold encrusted. Cindy Arndt had the dining room display a couple years ago in gold encrusted rose point, and it is spectacular, as gold encrusted wildflower is and any other etching that's filled with gold. But rose point I always think is even more spectacular with the gold in it than any other etching. So it's they've got a nice trim on the foot as well as the top rim, and it's filled in. It's, as Larry was saying earlier, as far as price, filling in the etching with gold was significantly more expensive than without the gold. So that was the water goblet. And then I brought a tall sherbet. I'm pretty sure they made the entire 3121 gold encrusted. I just don't know if I've seen a parfait or not, but I believe I've seen all of the other stems gold encrusted. And the second most common color to find is Crown Tuscan, although this vase is not one of the more common pieces to find. This has been a similar one has been sitting in the museum for a long time, and a friend of mine in the state up north, they were taking pictures at a friend's house, and this vase was sitting in a showcase. So I kind of put my name on it, and several years later, it came available, and now it sits in my showcase. But just a very unusual vase to find, yet to find it with the gold rose point on it is even more spectacular. So I love this piece. The next most common color to find rose point on is ebony. I don't have a lot of ebony, but the flip vase is one of my favorite shapes. It's very thin. It's not a shammed vase in any way, but it's quite nice. And when it's done in gold, it's even better. And amber, I did not bring this evening, so I'm going to finish with a piece of carmine. This is a 3400, the smaller size ball vase in carmine rose point, and as several people have commented and pointed out, gold and carmine go very nicely together. So Julie, that's all I have this evening.
Yes, they do go very well together, David. But I will that crown piece is so unique and unusual. Do you know if that particular shape came in other patterns, or is it only with rose point?
I've only seen that vase twice in any color. It's always been Crown Tuscan, and it's the one in the museum and this one here. This one here is the one that's in Jean Florence's very rare book. But I have no, I believe it is listed in a catalog as a vase, but it obviously was not very popular to the buying public, or they simply didn't make any. Why they chose Crown Tuscan and Rose Point, I have no idea. It was found in an antique mall in Michigan several years ago, so you never know. But you
But
keep
but
shopping.
only in rose point, right? Is that
Only
what
in
you're
Rose
saying?
Point and only in Crown Tuscan, yes.
How unusual. Could we see it one more time? I'm just very enamored with it, obviously.
It's
It's
about
so
6 inches
unique.
tall.
Yeah. Well,
Gold
that's
trim around the top, gold line around the bottom. The one in the museum is sitting in a gold holder. This one is not. I'm not sure how they were marketed, but
mm-hmm.
clearly they made two, but that's all I've ever seen.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, and thank you for sharing some different colors and some stemware as we know, we forget that besides gold encrusted, there was so much gold decorate, and sometimes it was just an edge treatment. It was what I call the drippy edge treatment. Sometimes it was very pristine in its look and very fine. So it's always nice to see different examples. So thank you so much for that. Next, we're going to go to Greg, and then we're going to go to Gary.
All right, hi. Zoe wanted to join us apparently. She just got back from her walk. So
Excellent. We like animals to join us.
got an individual sugar and creamer on a tray. I have the little, it's 3,515 for the individual sugar and creamer. And it's got this little saving, have it even marked. I thought that was just a little cute thing. And then the major thing that we have is this pristine 427 10-inch salad bowl in Wallace Sterling with the pierced rose point. So you can kind of see that it's got these little holes in the silver, and it's brand new. We just got it like 2 months ago, so we love that. So that's all I brought.
Well, Greg, we love it too because I just love silver on pieces. So I really love the pierced look, obviously. And I can't get enough of the little individuals of sugar and creamers either, but that's a beautiful piece. Beautiful, beautiful piece. Yeah, I have a lot of silver-based pieces, and I got a little. I had to go buy the silver ladle to go with it. So, I got a little crazy.
I'm not a fan of the gold. I wish they would have done some more silver instead of gold. Like,
well, there's a lot of silver out there and that you can look for. I'm sure if you talk to Mr. Everett or Gary, they'll point you in the right direction. But thank you for joining us tonight, and thank you for sharing.
Thanks.
And we're glad that someone else could join us after their walk too. It's always good when we have other friends.
All right. See ya.
All right, thank you. Next, we're going to go to Gary. And if anybody else has any glassware they would like to show, please, after Gary's done, you can just let me know. Thank you. Okay, so Gary, you're up. Okay, Gary, I just asked you to unmute.
I no longer see Gary.
Oh, is
Gary,
Gary?
you didn't need to, Gary, yeah, he's here. He just needs, there he is.
Okay, I'm here, I think, aren't I?
Yes, there you are. There you are.
Are you? Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
I can't see me on the screen.
Yeah, that's the bad thing. We can't see. It used to be you could see yourself, but now it's a little harder.
So you can't show my picture of what I'm showing?
No, we can see you. You just have to hold it up. We'll help you. We'll
Well,
help
anyway,
you direct
I'll show
you.
the big item first. You see that?
Oh, yes.
I can't see me showing it, so I can't tell where it's at.
It's perfect. It's almost in the middle of the screen, so you've got the right height and everything.
That's the punch bowl, the 15-inch punch bowl.
Whoa.
Anyway. And I don't know how much time you got, but punch bowl, I'll show you the 12-inch, can you see it? 12-inch flip base.
That is very cool.
That's huge.
And the problem, or the thing I found interesting, was the guy got it in an estate sale, and I bought it from him, and then 2 weeks later, he found another one, but it has a different plate etch. See the difference in the additional etching here versus the non-additional piece at the top. Can you see that?
Yes, beautiful.
but they look like trash baskets. I thought they were. The first one I ever saw, I thought was a trash basket. And this is one of my favorite bowls. It's a 3519. And I don't know how many of these are around, but I had only seen this one, and I thank David for that. Did you see it or not?
Yes. Oh, yes. No, I'm admiring it here. It's very interesting with the crimped edge
Yeah, the
and
handles are straight
the
up.
yes, the gadroon and
There's
very
another two
lovely.
versions. There's 2 or 3 other versions of this same bowl, but this is the only one I've ever had. I've had several of the others.
About how wide across is that, Gary?
Well, let me tell you, I'll tell you real quick here.
Well, I knew you had to be a man of means to have your ruler right there, your tape measure right there.
It is, if I can see it, I might have to put my glasses on. I had cataract surgery not too long ago. It says about 9.5.
Okay. That's a really interesting
It's
bowl.
9. It's 9 exactly.
9 exactly. Beautiful bowl.
Yeah, I've never seen this one before. It's the only one time I've ever seen it. Also, you had the Carmen iced teas. There's a Carmen tall sherbet. I just thought I'd add that to it. You have a cocktail, and I had some others, but I've sold them since then, so I don't have them anymore. And then I don't know if she said that. Anyway, this is a regular nude stem cocktail, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Is this, and I'm not sure whether the person that had that a while ago had a cocktail, or did he have this? Is this not the same size? Is this a cocktail, or is this a claret?
That's a claret.
Is it a claret?
Les is saying a claret.
A claret? Okay. I didn't know I had a claret. Anyway. Also have little shot glass, golden crusted. And you already saw the pierced stem. Well, here's a plain stem. Here's a show you the typical hollow stem that you normally see. And here's a champagne that's a hollow stem also.
Ooh, very cool.
And that's it. And that's it.
Do we know if those hollow stems and that the trumpet, did those come in other patterns? Do we know anyone?
I've seen them with cuttings on, Julie, but never another etching.
I was going to say I've never seen an etch. I know I've seen them, the hollow champagnes, but I've never seen that and the trumpet hollow. That's cool.
We have an imperial.
And I was showing the golden crusted nude a while ago, but here's a normal 3500 stem and golden crusted is a claret. Here's one with the 3600 bowl on it in golden crusted. You see the difference?
Oh, yes.
I didn't realize until I took it out of the case, not tonight, but here about 3 weeks ago, that this one was so much bigger than this one. And they're supposedly both clarets.
Do we know if there are a difference in ounces that fit in them, Gary?
Oh, yeah, there's a difference in the ounces. I think this was an ounce bigger.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm not sure,
actually, Gary, that 3600 bowl, that's an experimental on the 3500 stem,
okay.
and that's actually a much better. It's not a claret. The 3600 bowl is not a
It's
claret.
not.
Yeah,
It
no.
looks more like a 5-ounce footed tumbler bowl.
I think it's 7 ounces if I'm not mistaken,
Is it
because I
really?
I have an Elaine one, and of course there's both in the museum, and I think it's a 7 ounce one if I'm not mistaken. It's an odd size.
Okay. Also, the person that had that ashtray said a while ago, here's the stacking ashtrays. Can you see it clearly?
Oh, yes. Yes,
Okay.
those are cute.
Okay. They have a hole in them for the post. They also have 3 medallions on it. But I found out that they made them without the hole. So you could buy it just as an ashtray. They're the same blank, except they haven't put the holes in them. And they have 3 medallions on them. But they also made them with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 medallions on them. You see the difference?
Oh, yeah. That's interesting.
It's weird. Anyway, and then a couple of your people there asked about if I'd ever seen a 4 locking Beauboucher with rose point on it. And here is one. Can you see the
Yes.
matches?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay. And the candlestick also has the 4 knobs on it. So it's not just a 2 locking candlestick with 4 notches in the Beauboucher. You want to see it too?
Well, certainly. We're here to learn.
Okay. See it. See the 4 locking
Oh, yes.
knobs on the top of it?
Very interesting.
2 lock. I can get you back together. I lost one of the prisms, all right. I was going to show you my favor basket, a little favor basket. You had the lady that showed the bigger basket. And the bigger basket comes with 2 styles of handles on the top. One that's straight across and one that's rounded. I didn't know if she knew that or not.
That's a cute little basket. How big is that one?
If you go the lengthways, it's kind of pinched in the center there, so it's longer one way than the other. It's about 4 3/16 long from this end to this end.
Mm.
And it's about 2 inches and a quarter across. And I don't know if that was made out of maybe a big 3500 creamer. I don't know. Anyway, it's 3 inches tall to where the tallest point is on the side there.
Okay. Well, that's adorable.
And I have, like I was talking to Jack earlier about the punch cups to the Martha blank. One of them has the Martha stamp in it and one of them doesn't. The puff box is kind of a hard one to find. At an angle. Ashtray, that's the oblong ashtray. It looks more like a soap dish, but it's a pristine with the little tab handles, the pristine tab handles on it. you always had the pristine cocktail, the shrimp cocktail with the big foot on it. Am I showing it all right?
Yes, you are. Thank you.
Okay. But I also had one that was like it, this size. It's a grapefruit.
Yeah, I was
So,
going to say that's the grapefruit size.
yeah, grapefruit size. And they also had the two-part dressing set in tally ho, but they also made it with the horse spouts. You see it?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of hard to find too. While we're talking about things with liners on it, got a pristine, I think it's 10.5 inch, but I can't remember. 10.5 with the Martha Blank liner for a chiller.
That's the first I've seen of one of those. That's really interesting.
This is a pristine bowl that it fit in.
Uh-huh. But the liner's not etched. The liner's just plain, correct?
Well, I had one in the first collection. I don't have it anymore, but I had one that was etched, but they called, I think it would be classified because it had the etching on it. I think it's a salad bowl because they have a salad bowl, they call this too.
Yes.
And I would think if you placed, and I had it pictured at first in one of the catalogs, I've since then changed it to put the crystal one in versus the etched one, because if you had the etched one in there, it would interfere with the bowl etch. And this is a weird looking vase. You'd think it was a glass, but it's a vase. I think it's a numbered vase, and I can't remember what the number is on it. But it's kind of dirty. Need to clean all my glass, but this many pieces, I wouldn't be able to get them back on the shelf if I took them off. Anyway, here's an unusual vase too. It's kind of a nice vase. I can't remember the number, so I'd have to look it up in the book. Oh, let's see here. I got this is in the book too now, and it's a tankard.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. The tankard. You don't see that often at all.
No.
Not in an edge.
They came in tally-ho too, with the tally-ho lines around the bottom, I noticed. But this is just a plain one.
Well, I'm going to have to come to your house and get some parting gifts.
Well, you could come over, yeah.
Larry, that last tankard, isn't that the tankard that the hats are made from?
That's just what I was going to say. Yes, that's the tankard they made the hats from.
Also, you were talking about the Fenton or other, well, I can't remember the name of the glassware, but here's the bigger one and the middle sized one. I haven't been able to find the littlest one yet, but I got the two. Has anybody seen a non-configured tally-ho bowl?
What do you mean by non-configured?
A regular tally-ho bowl has a design element on the top of the rim.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
And non-configured doesn't have that edge on it. But up until, I don't know, a couple of years ago, I never ever heard of one. And I never seen one, but I finally got one. But anyway, it's in the catalog. It's non-configured. If you see the edge, it doesn't have any design elements. It just looks like a pristine bowl edge. That's kind of unusual. Let's see here. Oh, I forgot. Along with those ones that were made in 55, they had a tumbler. And this is the tumbler that was made in 55. Along that was the Federal glass rather than Cambridge glass, and they etched it. This is one of those. It's got a real thick sham in it. And I don't know if I can get to all this stuff.
I'll tell you what, why don't you get a few more pieces, and in the meantime, we'll let you get a few pieces and we're going to move to less and then we'll come back to you.
Okay, I'm just about done, but
Oh,
anyway,
okay. Well, then we'll just
Christine.
finish.
That's all right. No, that's okay. Pristine cup salsa.
Cute.
Okay, go ahead.
So you get a few more
down,
things.
try to find something else.
Okay, you go find some more things.
All right.
We'll go over to Les and then we'll come back to you, Gary.
All righty.
All right, Les, we'll
Okay.
let you show us your wonderful pieces.
Yeah, okay. Well, I do not collect rose point. I do have a few pieces of rose point because I do decorated nudes, and there are some nudes. So, one that hadn't been shown yet, this is the banquet goblet.
Mm.
And I've got 9 pieces in my collection of rose point, and they all mean a lot to me because they came from collections. So, when I look at my display cases in the glass, it means a lot to me often, the people that I got them from and the collections that they came from. So I also have the claret that was shown earlier and the cocktail. Now, the story about these, and of course, we know about these stories, but a well-known dealer in California uh, says that he went to a furniture store in San Francisco and there was a set of 12 of each of those 6 stems.
Hmm.
And those are the only ones that have ever been, heard. They were special order. I think he did a little tracking down as well. At any rate, so it must have been a special order. So there's 12 of each, probably circulating out there. So as Lyle mentioned, they're not easy to come by, and they're pretty cool. The other thing that they did in Rose Point in the nudes are the Crown Tuscan candlesticks. So this has got the medallions and the decoration on the bottom. I've also got a pair of the ones with the bulbachets and the dripping gold, and they are four-lock, as most of the nudes are. And again, they came from the collection of good friends. It means a lot to me. Seen some other of the Carmen 3500 lines. This is the cordial. I like cordials as accent etch cordials to go with the nudes, is to sit in between the nudes as accent pieces. And the cordials are really cute when they're etched like this. And then the last piece I've got, and this is another one. It's called a Weiss beer, and this thing is kind of well known about people that collect Rose Point. I think it surfaced in a mall in Indiana. It's got a G instead of a medallion on the one side, and it had floated around in different collections actually. So because the original source and the collections that it was in, it's another piece that means a lot to me. And that's a thing I've been collecting for like 40 years. So when these pieces come from collections of people that meant a lot to you, it's kind of special. So that's all I got, Julie, is those 4 pieces.
Well, thank you. And I did notice that you had the Rose Point label on your nude stem, which was very nice to see.
Yeah, there's not many pieces that have that Rose Point label. It's very faint, very faint. I don't know if
Yeah, kind of hard to see, but still, we know it's there. And
Yeah.
Larry provided a very good shot of one earlier.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you so much, Les. Very nice, unique pieces. And it's so hard to see a whole entire set of, I can't imagine 12 of those goblets together. I'm sure it was spectacular, but just seeing one is enough. And then also the big, um, it's not a stein, but the beer goblet. It's not, what did you call it? Not the beer goblet, but
Weiss beer.
Weiss beer. Thank you. And and again, I agree with you. Cordials are always very beautiful when they're put in between other larger pieces. So thank you so much for sharing. It's always appreciated. Next, do we have anyone else that wants to show any glass? If not, we may go back to Gary and see what Gary's collected in the meantime, because we do know Gary has a lot of Rose Point. Anybody else? Or any questions?
Julie, I have some pieces.
Oh, great. Okay, Marilyn.
And Greg Vass is waving his hand too, Julie.
Okay, thank you. I can't see everybody at one shot sometimes. Okay, we'll do Marilyn and we'll put Greg on deck.
Okay. This is a center handled 2-compartment relish. Haven't had this very long. This is a 3400 1093. Love this one. And this is a hat, and I think this might be the smallest hat. It measures about 5.5 inches tall. Had it for many years. Love this one. And I did find the little mark on it. Didn't know it was there. Never saw it before, but there it is.
Yes, we learn something new all the time at Show and Tell.
The cruet set. One's a keyhole and one's a ball. And a perfume and stopper. And I have an oil bottle with a little metal spout, which I don't know anything about that. And I wonder if that spout fits on something else, but I don't know what it would be. But I thought that was really unique.
Yes. Jack, does that go on the bitters?
I wondered about that.
Yeah, that's what you'll normally sign a bitters bottle, but they could have used them on all kinds of other things too, I'd imagine.
And I've had some Fenton bitters bottles, and I know they're not that little. So I don't know, but that's how it came, and I like it. And while Rose Point has a lot of bowls, not very many of them are actually fruit bowls that you can use on your table. And I looked a long time to find this one. This is $13.99. It's 11 inch. And it's very pretty. I made fruit salad in this a couple of weeks ago. And this one's 11 inch. And this is, wow, I really like this little tray. This is a 3591. I'd like to find some more of those because you can use these for a lot of different things.
Oh, could you hold that up just a little bit higher? Oh, perfect. Thank you.
And this, I love this picture. This is a Corinth picture and it's optic. And I looked for this for a long time. You all are in the middle of a lot of glass, and here in Kansas City, I don't see as much as you all do. And I was really happy to get this piece. It's beautiful. Absolutely.
Oh, yes. Stunning with the optics. Stunning.
And I knew there was, I've had the smallest picture for a long time, but I did not realize there was another one. I don't know that I've ever seen them side by side. But.
Yeah, one's the 20 ounce is the smaller one, and the secondary one is the 32 ounce. Very hard to find.
Right. Both have optics.
Yes, I've been looking for the 32 ounce in Chantilly. I've only ever seen it once. And the one time it came back on eBay, I happened to be on vacation and didn't see it until it was sold. So I'm still looking Still looking for a 32-ounce Chantilly if you ever see one.
This is a small version of the punch bowl. This is 3500 /25, and this is a 9-inch bowl, the ram's head. Love this one.
Oh yeah, I love the ram's head shape. It's just so classy.
Very. And this is probably one of my favorite pieces with the pierced
Yes.
foot. And this is the 13.5-inch platter with the pierced and waved edge.
Mm.
Love this one.
Stunning.
Yeah. And this is the 1491 mayonnaise. And these are very useful because when you have dinner and not everybody likes the same salad dressing. And I have 2 of these.
And I'm very impressed. You're so polished up in your silver too, Marilyn.
I just did that. And I want to talk about silver. This is a combination of 2 different styles. This has got the medallion. Of course, it's not pierced because it's on the picture, but the rope style that you see on a lot of pieces is on the foot.
Beautiful.
I've had this for quite a while.
Oh yeah.
And it's perfect. When you buy silver, it's easy to find pieces that are dented. My shakers are little dents in them, but this one is perfect.
That's the Wallace, right? From the Wallace?
It's got the sticker on it still that's a Wallace, and it's signed.
Yes, the hallmark.
Almost all the sterling pieces are signed with
yeah.
Wallace made her sign.
Beautiful piece. That's what I find very interesting in Rose Point and Chantilly. There's so many sterling pieces that people forget. Sterling, some of the sterling ware came before these the Cambridge Glass Company. So they're mimicking some of the etch off of what was already out there. And so you'll find so many complementary pieces back and forth that you can set your table with. So here you have the water pitcher, and then they may have had the water pitcher and then bought the sterling based glasses at one point to kind of make a set other than just what we would say our 80-ounce ball jug. So yeah, it's always nice to see examples of things that kind of go together. So thank you for sharing that very much, Marilyn.
You're welcome. That's all I have.
All right. Well,
Hey,
thank
Marilyn.
you.
Marilyn, this is David. Could you show the dripper on your perfume bottle one more time?
You know, I don't know that it looks like other drippers that I've seen.
But it does have the keyhole, correct?
It does. It's keyhole. And it's not put together. I mean, it's all one piece.
Just hold that up a little bit higher. I have never seen a Cambridge dripper that looked like that. It's usually a much thicker, maybe slightly shorter, with a little ball on the end, where that one is quite unique. That's awesome.
I looked at it a long time before I got it.
Can you hold it up just a little bit higher there? Oh, thank you. That's wonderful.
I don't know if you can see it better against, no, you really can't see it better against black, can you?
Oh yeah, no, it shows well.
Yeah.
Wow, there must be a second dripper mode out there somewhere.
And you know, it's pretty consistent all the way down, so I would guess it was molded instead of pulled. interesting.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, thank you. Beautiful pieces, Marilyn, just beautiful pieces, and such a nice variety that you showed us tonight. So thank you so much for participating. Next, we're going to go to Greg. And is there anyone else after Greg? I'm sorry, I don't see everyone all the time, so please just pop in and say I have glass. So next we're going to Greg Voss, please.
Hello, everybody. Good to see everybody. Talking about while we're on the subject of silver and Rose Point silver, I
Yep.
think this Rose Point silver pattern was introduced like maybe maybe not more than like a year or a year and a half before Cambridge came out with the Rose Point crystal. So this must have been such a huge hit immediately that everybody was scrambling around to like, oh my gosh, we got to make a glassware pattern to match this. So obviously they sold. Obviously, it was a huge hit. They certainly, I think they sold a whole lot of the china as well that Pope Gosser made, but they made obviously a lot of the silver and then the crystal. It all must have come together within like 2 or 3 years, very, very quickly. I want to thank Gary. I reached through the phone and I found a tankard also in Rose Point. They're pretty hard to find. Little tiny spout on the top. I see Christine has most of the world's collection of the 3106 Rose Point. To me, of kind of the four, I would say four major Rose Point stem lines, I think this is the most elegant, and it's really my favorite. I just think it's just very, very, very classic and elegant. And this is the water goblet. 3500 stem line. I love the 3500 stem line because of the stem, and I think a lot of people like it because of the stem. One of my favorite pieces in the collection is a fairly popular one that was sold. It's kind of easy to find, but it's the 3500 stem, and I don't know that there might be one other piece of Cambridge that used this really enlarged 3500 stem for as part of the item. Like I said, I think that's just a beautiful, beautiful stem, and I think it works really, really beautifully on that 3500 comport. One of my favorite pieces is the only amber piece I have is a ice bucket, decagon shaped ice bucket in amber Rose Point. And here I go with this vase again. My favorite shaped vase in gold encrusted, the 12-inch keyhole stem vase. And then, oh, that wasn't glass. That was just my phone.
Okay.
Oh, where'd you go? There you are. You're
We
back.
can see you.
Okay. Every now and then you come across something by accident and you're happy. I don't collect a lot of Rose Point, but I came across this. This is the cereal bowl. Cereal
Yeah.
bowl. No, it's the Martha Punch Bowl. And
Oh, beautiful.
this is what I eat cereal out of every morning. My spoon, my ladle or my spoon is around here somewhere. But anyway, I was very happy to have one of these in my collection.
Yes.
That's it. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. And I agree with you. I just enjoy that stem on your compote there. It's to me it's such a beautiful shape. It's very striking. And then once it goes up into the piece, it's just got a very, very nice architectural look to it. It just flows well. So beautiful pieces, really beautiful pieces, Greg. And I stand corrected. You're absolutely right. I had to look up. Rose Point and Wallace did not start until 1934. So it is actually a much older pattern, say, than Chantilly, which started in the 1890s. So yeah, it must have had such popularity that they decided to do more with what we did in Cambridge.
Julie, I was just going to clarify. Wallace, Sterling, Pope Gosser, and Cambridge Glass launched Rose Point at the same time.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's a little bit different than some of the other sterling that we have, like I said, because I'm a Chantilly collector, I know much more about that particular sterling pattern, but it was launched much earlier than what we see in the Cambridge glassware for Chantilly.
So, Larry, you said they were launched at the same time. Was that coordinated on purpose or by chance?
Yeah, it was coordinated on purpose.
Okay. Is there anyone else before we go back to Gary? Any comments or anything that anybody else wants to bring up? So anybody else? Okay, Gary, have you returned? We've got a few more minutes here. We're getting kind of close to 9:30-ish. So if you have a few more pieces you would like to show, I'm sure we would appreciate seeing some of your unusual things.
Okay. I'm here.
Okay, how about if we spend 5 more minutes?
Everybody sees this common piece of rose point, the 4-part relish, 14-inch relish. But this is what goes on it.
Wow.
Like that.
We don't see that one every day.
Well, you probably haven't seen this either. Just a second. If you don't like the divided relish, you can always have a plain one. So you can use your lid on that.
Wow.
This is a regular dresser tray.
Yes.
14-inch dresser tray. But there was a smaller dresser tray. It fits down in this one. Also, I don't know, I had a little, did I show you the little Demodos cup saucer?
Nope, you didn't show us the demi-tasse yet.
Okay, there it is. This has got the Cambridge sign in the bottom of the saucer.
Oh.
Can you see it?
Yes, thank you. Hold down a little bit. There you go.
Where's that, like that?
That's perfect.
Okay.
Yep.
Anyway, Marilyn had that stopper a while ago, and I've seen that stopper once before, but I didn't know whether it was good, bad, or otherwise. But here's the one you normally see. It's like this.
There you go.
I don't know, with a little ball on the end.
Mm-hmm.
But it goes in the 2-ounce bottle. Okay. And I'm not sure if this is the smaller Federal glass that they made, or if it should be tapered more, because I got this taper like this. This doesn't taper as much, but the common one is a different, the normal old fashioned is like this shape. And then this is a lot different shape. And it's got the bottom on it like the other Federal tumblers that I got that are. But I thought this might have to be more tapered to be the Federal glass, but I don't know. It's got the same tone or color that the actual others have in the glass itself.
Hmm.
How many,
Um,
how many ounces is it, Gary? If it's 5 ounce, it's correct.
This one,
Yeah,
I don't know. I'd have to measure it because I don't have a clue.
yeah.
I have to go measure it. It's smaller than all the other two, but it's about a quarter of an inch shorter than the normal one. And it's got a different sham in the bottom.
Right.
And it's a hollower in the bottom of it too, on the other one. This is the one I think might be federal, but I don't know. I don't know, but either. Anyway, then did I show the salt and pepper shakers?
No, let's see a few of those, and then
Just
those are
like this pair.
oh,
They're
beautiful.
they're hard to find for me anyway. Maybe not to everybody. I don't know. But,
No, in that great a condition with the tops, that's perfect.
okay, I'm gonna get out of your hair here. I'll let everybody go to bed or whatever they gotta do. We have another one. I've got a lot of others interesting pieces that I haven't shown.
I am absolutely sure that you do. And I have to say, we're very pleased to see all the unusual pieces that you have, because we know that probably, I know in my lifetime, I'm probably not going to see half of them. Oh, and of course, we just had to bring something else cute out, didn't we? You better hold it up one last time since we can see the last piece you're going to
I
show.
got that. I will tell you the secret on it.
That's
Lotus glass.
ah.
This was an actual Cambridge glass piece, caramel, but Lotus etched the etching on it.
Okay. Interesting. Well, thank you so much, Gary. It's been a pleasure to see a lot of your collection. I know it's you've you've done some wonderful books on what we see in Rose Point pattern, and obviously the pictures in the book don't do it justice when you see it in
Well,
person.
there's a later edition nobody has yet, but they won't have it because they don't want to buy it, because the printer that I've got, and I mean, you guys got a cheaper printer out there. He wants $25 to print it, and it has 181 pages total in it. And it's got a piece in it I just saw here recently, and the guy sent me a picture or the piece for I could take a picture. It was a 3419 salary. And it was only made in 35 to 37. I've never seen another one.
Wow. Well, we hope we're hoping you can find a cheap printer, because I know I'd like to add that book to my collection.
Well, I can get them printed, but like I said, he wants $25 to print them.
Yeah.
And I can't legally sell them. I don't guess, unless because it's got all different pages numbered in it. Maybe I could, but I would just, if you wanted to have me print one for you, I'd go to the printer and have me print one.
Okay. I may take you up on that one.
Okay, and then that's all.
All right. Well, thank you, Gary. We're going to turn it back to David. So next we'll go back to David for some closing remarks.
All right. Thank you, Julie. First of all, thank you to Larry and Susan for putting this program together this evening. Putting together a program takes a bit of work and effort, but Larry and Susan are both avid Rose Point collectors, so I'm sure they got to reminisce a little bit about where some of their collection came from over the years as they were preparing for tonight's program. Also, thank you to everyone for sharing their glass this evening. I know we were impressed with the size of Greg Vass's cereal bowl, but a side note on that, Greg did find that in an estate sale, but he was such a diligent employee that he did not go the first day of the estate sale. He went to work and went on Saturday. I mean, Greg, what do you got to do? Sometimes you're just committed. And I could not fathom that went to work and passed on the Rose Point Punch Bowl, but luckily it was there for him, under plate and cups and all. So I guess good things happen to good people. And then another side note, Gary shared the hollow stem trumpet shaped champagne a moment ago. I'm sitting at school and after the kids leave, I grab my phone and I see it's listed on eBay as a buy it now. So I'm frantically calling Gary on the phone and he bought that. So many great stories that we create being part of NCC and being a collector and making friendships with so many other collectors across the country that's really what I find that NCC means to me. It's the friendships. It is the glass, but there's just so many pieces and the stories out there that where we've worked together to help one another build our collections and find pieces for others. So it's wonderful at these Zoom and Tells. Occasionally I get to see a piece or two that I help find a home for across the country. Again, thanks for everyone who shared, and there were so many wonderful pieces, and probably Rose Point, maybe Caprice is second, where collectors are just so enthusiastic about a particular etching or a color or a line. I think Rose Point's probably right there at the top. I've had a chance to visit Gary a couple times, and 3 or 4 hours goes by very quickly looking at the Gary Turner collection of Rose Point as you go from upstairs to downstairs from case to case. So Gary's got some wonderful glass and some wonderful stories to go with each piece. Next month is November. Jack Thompson is going to be finishing up the candelabra or candlestick program with candelabras. And Jack, do you want to give a definition of a candelabra for everyone?
Oh, you would have to ask that. That was going to be, that's part of my lead in on that when that program comes, because as we all know, Cambridge just did wild and inconsistent things, and the term candelabra is one of those things that they couldn't figure out what they were going to do. But what we're talking about is anything with a Bobochet or a Bobesh, for those of you who prefer that the way to pronounce it. So it could be anything with a Bobesh. Is you could have one, two, or three, or whatever you want. Could be an Epern, but as long as it has a Bobesh or a Bobochet on it, we're going to talk about it next week. So that'll be fun.
All right, thanks, Jack. Now everyone knows what to look for in their case. So anything that has a Bobochet and some nice prisms hanging off of it, uh, be prepared to share that uh, next month in November. So again, Julie, thank you for hosting tonight, and thank you again for our presenter and our guest who shared glass.
Yes. I just want to reiterate, thank you so much, Larry and Susan. I know you both worked together to put together terrific programs, whether it was on Sunday or tonight. It's very much appreciated the time you spent to put this together. And again, I always like to close with thanking everyone that's joined and everyone that shares their glass. We know it takes a little effort because I know Marilyn was probably polishing silver, getting ready for show and tell. And as David was saying, it's still about our community. It's about our glass community. I know David sends me a text every now and then, says, "Hey, I just saw something on Etsy for you," or "I saw something." And I really appreciate that as a collector. And I'm sure when we all share together, we have this enthusiasm and this love for Cambridge glass. And it's contagious, obviously. So thank you for everyone for joining. I know we went a little longer than usual, but we appreciate your time each and every month, and we hope to see you next month. So until then, stay safe, stay warm, and we'll see you next month. So have a good evening.
Good night.